Okay, let's take a deep dive.
Let's do it.
Today, we've compiled a whole stack of sources. We've got website materials, mission statements, and several hundred customer reviews.
Right.
And it's all focused on a single operation, the comprehensive restoration services provided by SERVPRO of Lufkin, Nacogdoches County.
That's right. And our mission here is to really look beyond the marketing slogans, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We want to analyze what it truly takes for a modern disaster recovery company to deliver on its promises. We're looking at their service model, their training, and their execution.
Especially in those high-stress emergency environments.
Exactly.
And their core mission, it's immediate and it's powerful. It's stated right in their materials. They exist to minimize the interruption to your life and restore property to its pre-damage condition.
And they have that goal, that quote.
Like it never even happened.
That is a phenomenal promise.
Yeah.
And to even attempt to achieve it, they have to rely on two critical foundational pillars.
Okay.
First is speed. It's captured by their slogan, faster to any size disaster.
Right. Speed is everything in these situations.
And second, dependability.
Yeah.
Here to help you, 247. When chaos hits at, 3 in the morning, that round-the-clock emergency service is it's the absolute baseline requirement.
And we're focused specifically on their operational footprint in deep East Texas. The service map covers Lufkin, Nacogdoches, Huntington, Diboll,
Hollick, Hudson, and Central.
Yeah, so they are deeply geographically embedded in that region.
And that defined local focus is so crucial. It really speaks directly to their origin story and the community trust they have to cultivate.
Which you absolutely need when you're dealing with people at their most vulnerable.
Absolutely.
So that brings us right into the foundation of the business and, the people behind it. The sources detail that the franchise was brought to the area by Brad and Jayna Hammack.
Native Texans and high school sweethearts.
It's such a powerful local narrative, isn't it?
It genuinely grounds the enterprise. They launched the franchise back in 2006, starting with, and I love this quote, 1 truck, Old Betsy, some equipment, and lots of SERVPRO training.
That just highlights that classic entrepreneurial ethos, starting small with a real commitment to growth and community service.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets really interesting for me. That commitment is so locally driven, but the resources behind them are massive.
Oh, yeah.
So is the secret to their success maintaining that feeling of local ownership while leaning entirely on the corporate structure for consistency and resources?
That's absolutely the synthesis we see. I mean, this franchise is locally owned, which gives it that personal accountability.
Right.
But it is backed by a nationwide network of over 2,000 franchises. The parent brand has been serving communities since 1967.
Wow.
And that history, that scale, it provides two things. A small, independent company just can't. Standardized protocols and, maybe more importantly, immediate surge capacity when a major regional disaster just overwhelms local resources.
You can actually measure the success of that model.
Oh, yeah, you can see it in the data.
They maintain an extremely high customer satisfaction metric, a 4.9 rating.
Based on 258 Google reviews.
I mean, dealing with disasters is inherently stressful. It's emotional. So achieving and maintaining a score like that across hundreds of interactions is... well, it's a profound testament to their operational quality.
It validates the promise. The numbers suggest they consistently bring professionalism, compassion, and critically high technical expertise to jobs where a mistake can be just devastating.
Okay, let's transition now to the scope of their work, because this is where we really uncover the true depth of their capability. Most people, I think, they just think of simple cleanup, but the sources show a far more complex offering.
Exactly. We can define their core services as, let's call it the Big Four.
The Big Four, okay.
These are the things that usually require an emergency call. Water damage, fire damage, mold remediation, and storm or disaster recovery. Catastrophic events that need immediate intervention.
And they offer what they market as a comprehensive turnkey solution. That phrase is repeated often, but achieving it sounds, logistically monumental.
It is.
What are the pillars that make up this end-to-end service?
Well, the solution explicitly stands 3 distinct trades: cleaning, restoration, and construction.
Okay, so all 3.
They manage the entire life cycle, from the initial water extraction and structural drying through specialized smoke odor and mold remediation, all the way up to the complete reconstruction and rebuilding of the property.
So if you're a homeowner or a business owner, you don't have to go out and vet 3 different companies. a remediation specialist, a contents packer, and a general contractor, and then try to manage their schedules while you're also dealing with insurance?
No, exactly. They become the single point of accountability.
That streamlined approach has to be the major value proposition here.
It is, and it's why their staff training is so vital. To execute a single project that requires sophisticated drying techniques, maybe biohazard protocol, and construction oversight requires intensely specialized knowledge.
Speaking of knowledge, the sources emphasize that their team holds IICRC industry certifications. For anyone listening who might be dealing with this, what does IICRC even stand for? What does it guarantee?
Good question. ICRC stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification.
Okay.
It's the globally recognized standard setter for this industry. So having an ICRC certification means their technicians are trained in concepts like psychrometrics, which is the science of drying.
The science of drying.
Yeah, and how to use specialized equipment like low-grain refrigerant dehumidifiers and moisture mapping devices. They are using science, not just, a bunch of fans, to ensure a structure is truly dry and safe.
That technical depth is just crucial. If a company just relies on simple air movers and doesn't understand the science behind it, you end up with hidden moisture.
And hidden moisture inevitably leads to mold and repeat issues down the line.
So they're mitigating future risk.
Precisely. And that commitment to niche specialization is visible across their entire list of services. Let's look at some of the areas that really surprise people, the hidden knowledge nuggets.
Let's pause on that specialty hazards list. Which of those services requires the most, let's say, surprising regulatory oversight or technical training?
I would start with biohazard and crime scene cleanup.
Right.
And sewage cleanup. These are not jobs for standard cleaning staff. They require extensive personal protective equipment, PPE, and adherence to really strict regulatory protocols for containment and disposal.
You're dealing with pathogens.
You have to ensure pathogen removal. It's a massive liability if it's done incorrectly.
And tied to that is their offering of virus and pathogen cleaning, including specific COVID-19 disinfection services.
Absolutely.
This shows how quickly they have to adapt their training to new, evolving health threats.
The need for comprehensive, professional-grade disinfection has only gone up. But the service that I think truly elevates their brand is document restoration.
Document restoration, that's a huge insight. Most people would just assume documents are a total loss after fire or water damage.
They would. But the process is incredible. It can't just be air drying papers.
No, I imagine not. What does it entail?
It often involves highly technical processes like thermal vacuum freeze drying.
Freeze?
Yeah, this specialized equipment is designed to remove moisture from saturated papers and books without causing the ink to run or the pages to warp. This is about saving priceless family photos, critical legal archives, or proprietary business records.
It shows a commitment to restoring not just the structure, but the invaluable, irreplaceable contents within.
That's it.
And speaking of contents, they offer full contents, cleaning, restoration, and storage.
Right. If you have a house full of items, they manage the entire logistical nightmare. The packing, creating an inventory, moving the contents out while the work is done.
Storing them securely and then moving them back in once the reconstruction is complete.
That truly reinforces the single point of accountability model. You don't have to hire a moving company and a storage facility and then worry about coordinating all this logistics with the rebuild schedule.
They just own the process end to end.
They own it.
So if I'm visualizing the full service, a commercial building floods. They come in, use the ICRC certified science to dry the structure, pack up and preserve the documents and contents, deal with any mold, and then bring in their construction arm to put the whole facility back together.
And they'll probably use their air duct and HVAC cleaning services as part of that total restoration. It is genuinely comprehensive.
It's managing the disaster life cycle from the moment that 247 call comes in.
Until the final piece of drywall is installed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's pivot to the human element, because the sources provide some really powerful examples of how this technical expertise is paired with crucial compassion. The customer testimonials really show the impact their team has during these moments of crisis.
The reviews consistently highlight that the staff doesn't just perform a task, they act as guides.
Yeah.
We see that efficiency praised by one customer, Jason Jose, who noted the speed and professionalism of the crew in cleaning up flooding.
But it's that advocacy role that's perhaps the most significant element.
I agree.
I want to highlight the story of Angela, who is mentioned in Nicole Thomas's Lufkin review. Nicole experienced severe water damage, and she specifically praised Angela for providing clarity, compassion, and professionalism when the family was just completely overwhelmed.
And that specific review, it detailed that Angela went above and beyond by communicating directly with the customer's insurance company.
Which is huge.
It's invaluable
Yeah.
because the family was struggling to navigate the bureaucracy. When you are emotionally exhausted, having a knowledgeable professional act as your liaison and just cut through the red tape, that can define the entire recovery experience.
It moves beyond technical skill and into exceptional customer advocacy. It proves that even a large national brand can deliver deeply personalized care.
And that operational professionalism is so consistent that it's deployable nationwide. We have this compelling story from Sandra Miller, who lives in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
After record-breaking rainfall caused major basement damage, the national network dispatched Patrick and Candace from the Lufkin, Texas team to assess the situation.
That is amazing. A local Texas crew is flown to the Midwest to assist with a massive disaster response. That demonstrates the true logistical muscle of that 2,000 franchise network.
And crucially, Sandra Miller highlighted that Patrick and Candace were extremely knowledgeable, they gave clear instructions, offered reassurance, and they did all this without pushing unnecessary services.
That's key.
It is, since the cleanup had already been started by the homeowner. It underscores a trustworthy, non-aggressive approach to assessment, which is so vital when customers feel vulnerable and exploited in a disaster scenario.
And finally, we see how the franchise really ties its business back to its roots. The sources note their strong commitment to the local area, sponsoring teams like the Warbird softball team.
And maintaining a high profile at local events.
Yeah.
Their sales and marketing teams are described as being embedded in the community, volunteering and building strong local relationships. It ties directly back to Brad and Jayna Hammack's original vision. They're local Texans dedicated to serving their neighbors, which just reinforces the trustworthiness required for this sensitive line of work.
So summarizing the core value proposition we've analyzed today, what's the single biggest takeaway for our listener about using a service like this?
For me, the value is the integrated accountability. They successfully merge dedicated local ownership and community knowledge with the high-level professional training, specialized equipment like those freeze dryers, and the expansive resource network of a national brand.
So you get the familiarity of a neighbor,
Backed by the logistical power and technical expertise to manage cleaning, restoration, and complete reconstruction. It really is the one call that covers it all.
It's just impressive how they've standardized what is an overwhelmingly complex process. From structural drying and ICRC protocols to these highly specialized niche services like biohazard cleanup.
Absolutely. And that extensive list of specialized services, it raises a final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
Knowing that comprehensive companies offer such unexpected help-like document restoration, or the ability to mobilize teams nationwide, what foundational assets or continuity plans should individuals or businesses prioritize before disaster strikes? Do you know where your critical archives are? Are they backed up?
That is the crucial point, isn't it? Understanding the depth of service that's available actually changes the nature of pre-disaster planning.
It should.
Thinking about the potential need for that specialized help beforehand could save significant time, money, and stress when you eventually have to make that emergency call.
Precisely.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into the blueprint of comprehensive turnkey restoration. We hope this exploration changes how you view emergency preparedness.